the display of support for Lindsay Clancy was in full force outside of the courthouse today. Day 17 of Lindsay Clancy's trial has wrapped up. It's a great day for a great day. My name is Sydney Rushing. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Michigan. Now let's talk about it. There were hundreds of people outside the courthouse wearing pink, standing in support of Lindsay Clancy this morning. There's also rallies across the country doing the same thing just to show up their support for not only Lindsay, but just for mental health for women and postpartum women in general. They, along with many, many others, myself included, think that healthcare systems across the world should be on trial, not Lindsay Clancy. The judge then started off this morning much different than usual. He actually interviewed each individual juror. Basically, they went up there, they were asked a question, each one of them said no, and then the interview ended there. My guess is it has something to do with the people that were staying outside and, were they talked to or did anyone approach them or anything like that, or do they feel safe, or it's something like that. But anyways, the jury all came in later on. All of them were there. So although it did start off a little bit different, nothing came of it. Then witness number 9 or witness number 80 overall, Sheila Kavanaugh was called to the stand. She's a chaplain at Brigham and Women's Hospital. He's been there for 7 years. She held Lindsay's hand on January 31st after she had been extubated to comfort her and said that Lindsay said, "I am so glad that my children are safe." And she responded to Lindsay, "Your children are safe. They are safe in heaven with God." They both then prayed for the kids. She described Lindsay as having a neutral emotional state or a flat effect. She described having to make her way through several police officers to see Lindsay at one point. Lindsay was wearing a neck brace, bandages, and had a breathing tube, and she couldn't speak when she first saw her. She said that Lindsay alluded to hearing a voice, and that voice told her that if she did not follow the command, neither she or the children would be safe. She said the voice came up several times in conversations while Lindsay was at Brigham and Women's. She continued to meet with Lindsay as she was transferred to Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital and then on to Tewksbury Hospital. She said that Lindsay talks about her kids frequently and that she loves them deeply and carries immense grief. She last met with Lindsay prior to the trial starting. Then, during cross-examination, when asked if the only time she saw a large police presence in Lindsay's room was when search warrants were being executed on January 25th, she said perhaps. The prosecutor established that she took detailed notes about her interactions with Lindsay, but never wrote down that Lindsay was hearing voices. She said that chaplain notes are not verbatim transcripts of patient conversations, that she's not there to evaluate the patient, she's there to be a witness to their suffering. The prosecutor read through some of the notes that Kavanaugh wrote down about her visits with Lindsay. Some mentioned her being scared of not walking again, her recovery, her being discharged to Spalding, and an interaction with her mom, and pointed out that she never wrote anything down regarding a voice. On redirect, she said that she approaches patients in a vortex of trust, and that when a patient talks with the chaplain, their convos are confidential and not documented in medical records. Then she confirmed on recross that some of the comments she noted from Lindsay were direct quotes, and she used her best judgment when writing down her notes, again saying that she did not write down that Lindsay heard any voices. And the jury was excused and let go for the day. After the jury was excused, they stayed to talk about potential jury instructions. The prosecutor doesn't think that there should be any instructions given to the jury about intoxication when it comes to criminal responsibility. They said there's literally pretty much been no evidence to suggest that she was intoxicated by drugs or alcohol when the incident occurred. And then, of course, Reddington pushed back and said that that's their whole defense is involuntary intoxication based on the overprescribing of medications that she had received and advice she was given and how that directly impacted Lindsay's actions that day. The judge also said he's expecting closing arguments to happen next week. That is it. Short and sweet for day 17. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following along. And here's the question of the day. Do you think that the judge should instruct the jury regarding intoxication and how it relates to criminal responsibility? Or do you think that they haven't talked anything about that and that it shouldn't be included? Let me know in the comments.